Hello there and welcome to SME On Point, the small business slot of the SABC. My name is Boksburg. This week we meet a small business that rolled up its sleeves to help the community of Boksburg after that horrible gas tanker explosion that claimed more than 40 lives. Khula Khanya Holdings has made it its business to install windows for free to homes that were damaged by the explosion. They say they decided to help the families in this way to ensure their security and restore their dignity. The community of Boksburg, where the deadly gas explosion took place, is still picking up the pieces after nearly 2 months. The streets, lonely and dark, the sight is a painful reminder.
It was very bad because into an extent that there were still human remains. So it was an emotional experience for us. But fortunate enough, we had Ariel, who is also one of the people who was assisting. She came in with the Angel Network and the board. She was offering psychological assistance in a form of counseling. We also had our own counseling, so it helped a lot because even to us, when we came here, it was touching.
Windows play a key role in making a house a home. The co-owners of Khula Khanya Holdings still touched by the trail of the devastation, particularly the shattered windows. Through their company, they are offering free services to affected homes.
The main problem we faced when we came here, people were emotional, and we saw that the windows, which it is also a pillar of any home, because without a window, you would recall in the few days after the explosion, there was rain. So we thought, no, we cannot leave people without windows because they would be affected by rain after losing their loved ones and some of them being injured. They were complaining about mosquitoes, the rooms were cold. So we said, no, let us come in and assist.
To date, the trio have installed more than 160 windows, and in some instances, circumstances forced them to reinstall. Damani says this is a journey where lessons are learned.
In one of the houses, we installed the windows in. After we've installed the rest of the house, a week later, we discovered that due to the K9 search that transpired after they found the human remains, the windows were broken again. So it triggered again the what you call trauma for them. So we said, no, we will come and reinstall. So it has been a journey worth walking. And it was a learning experience for us to say, before business, we are human beings.
With the help of the Angel Network and the South African Jewish Board of Deputies, Damane and partners say they are inspired to do more and to transfer skills.
We are really looking forward into helping our people. We can see as a country, we are complaining about the country moving to a wrong direction. People are losing hope in the government. People are losing hope in their own selves. What we are learning here is to say, no, you need to play an active part, because we came in, we assisted. People now have windows. People were offered counseling. People were able to reconnect with their families, because some were unable to connect with their families. So we are proud to say we learned a lot in this experience.
Boksburg, SABC News, Johannesburg. Khula Khanya is a beautiful example of just how businesses can extend a hand in a time of need and in a time of tragedy. Kudos to Khula Khanya business, and we wish them all the best as they try to help that community in Boksburg. To this now, 2 years ago, many township-based businesses and entrepreneurs were badly impacted by the looting and violence during the riots of 2021. But many of them turned this disaster into opportunities, and their stories have made their way to the pages of a book that will be an inspiration to many others. Alef Muhlenberg, social entrepreneur, philanthropist, chairperson at Khula Khanya Holdings, is launching his first book, The Overcomers. This is an account of how 10 entrepreneurs persevered through the aftermath of COVID-19 and survived both the July 2021 riots as well as the floods. I'm joined by two of those businesses and entrepreneurs whose stories are part of the book. Khula Khanya is the founder of Leb's Cafe Ikofi, and Lance Ross is the founder of Swinton Road Butchery. Welcome to both of you. I can't wait to start reading about the stories. I'm sure that I think I've seen that Lance is for the first one that is on the line. And Lance, tell us about your business. It's a butchery. How have you been affected in those 2 years that we saw the riots and also the floods, because you are also based in KZN?
I'm a small butchery based, as you said, in KZN, in just outside of Lemontville. And first of all, I'd like to thank Africa Tukan and Riza Babuile, as well as Aleph, because without them, I wouldn't be open again. I was looted, as we're well aware, and I lost in the region of 700,000 Rand in stock and equipment. And they came to me and gave me funding, and that's what enabled me to open my doors again.
Yeah. How was that journey of opening your doors again? It must have been a really emotional one when you see the ruins of what you had started out of passion and also trying to create jobs. That journey, describe it to us.
It was heartbreaking, to say the least, to see everything that you put your entire savings into just in ruins. What couldn't be stolen was broken, and it was just a disaster. And I had no idea where I was going to, or what the route was to recovery. But as I said, Aleph and Africa Tukan came to the rescue. Yeah. But it's still fresh in my heart right now.
Yeah.
It's been very emotional.
Wow, Lance. Let me bring in Khula Khanya, the founder of Leb's Cafe Ikofi. Khula, tell me about how the community where you live is appreciating your services as a coffee maker, and how have you been affected, and how have you come back from the tragedy?
Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity. So we were looted when the looting took place. It was very devastating. I don't want to lie. That moment I really don't forget. I remember seeing the community pushing my mobile trolleys that I used to sell coffee with around the township. I remember them loading the stuff that was looted from other shops. So the whole event was truly devastating. And through Riza Babuile, Africa Tukan, and Aleph Muhlenberg, we were able to revive our business, and today we are back. Through their help, we were able to buy stock, we were able to buy equipment and brandy. So we are revived, and we are still pursuing the dream of wanting to see Leb's Cafe becoming the biggest coffee brand ever to come out of South Africa.
Yeah. Tell me about your love for coffee. Where exactly did it start?
So my love for coffee started when I was still staying with my grandmother. She used to send me a lot to prepare her a cup of coffee, which was I did not like it at that time, and I didn't even like my grandmother sending me to prepare her a cup of coffee, because she would drink like a lot of it in a day. So sometimes I would want to go and play with other kids, but yeah. So I started falling with coffee then. Then I just developed the passion of it and wanting to own a brand, and eventually seeing a potential of the market, and truly wanting to go into this thing with my 2 feet. So I then started wanting to start a coffee brand that can speak directly to the hearts of South Africans, a coffee brand that can share and tell South African stories because it relates to them, something that can serve as a medium to the community so that they can go out there and chase their dreams every morning when they wake up. So that's when I then founded Leb's Cafe.
Yeah. To both of you, you will be part of pages in a book that shares your experiences. However, as we speak, we have a pandemic that's going on where electricity supply is really, we are in a crisis mode because of the electricity supply. How concerned are you for your own businesses and the success that you have been able to turn over from, the tragedy that happened, the fact that now the rolling blackouts are happening the way that they are? Lance, let me come back to you first, then Khanya, you can just take over.
The electricity crisis is just that, it's a crisis. And as businessmen, we need to roll with the punches. I've managed along the way to get myself a generator. However, it does not run my entire store. It's just the necessary equipment such as scales and tills, etc. But I've got to, in the long run, find a more permanent solution such as solar. And I think a lot of us need to, going forward, look at perhaps installing solar, but the problem is that it's very costly. And it's sad that the government isn't coming to the party as far as sorting this thing out as quick as it can be sorted out.
Yeah. Lebogang?
Yeah, the issue of load shedding, it really has an impact on us, and very harshly and very bad. To think that sometimes we just need to close our doors just to focus on electricity or what we can continue with. And having to install the solars, the generators, the petrol is also expensive. The equipment for solar is also expensive. So it's quite harsh, especially on small businesses. Imagine having to stop your employees from working at that period until the electricity comes back. It also affects them even at home, because we work with young people that are passionate, young people that want to see their dreams fulfilled. And through the work that they do at my company, whenever there's a tragedy of load shedding, now it has to affect their payments and things like that, because I also can't pay them for not doing anything at that particular time. So it's affecting them, it's affecting their budget. It also affects my budget and my financials. But I'm really hoping to also install the solar and the generator. But luckily enough, also I use instant coffee sometimes when there's load shedding, so I can just keep up with the sales of the day. But load shedding and other crises that we face in the country are really impacting us. Also water, sometimes it's just another thing.
Water is another thing these days. Before I both let you go, I'm keen to hear about what are those things that kept you going in this time of adversity during those 2 years, of course, is what I'm referring to. What are those things that made you wake up and really want to rebuild your business? You could be watched by somebody at the moment who is going through what you are going through, having a tragedy of whatever proportions. How can you encourage that person about what should wake them up to rebuild their business?
So first of all, me, Khanya and Denny, I always express myself and say to people that I'm not a quitter. I'm not someone that quits easy. And I would like to encourage other people, even on the book, The Overcomers, my story is there. It speaks about how did I not quit during this devastating time. So I would like to encourage other young people not to quit. Whenever there are adversities in your way, do not quit, do not look back, just keep on focusing on your dream. So Mina, I had that dream. The passion has been there. Even though I had to face adversities, that the looting taking me back, but I was able to come back because I'm one person who doesn't quit. I'm one person who doesn't give up.
A fighter spirit.
Yes, I always try to focus on my dream. So whenever you focus on dreams, you can really pursue what you want to achieve.
It can happen. And Lance, for you, what kept you going?
It was a mixture of desperation, one, because I wasn't willing to go back and work for somebody, and also my dream. This has been my dream for many years, so I wasn't willing to let go of it. So I had to fight with all that I have and all that I am. And the third thing, which is probably the greatest thing, is that I employ people. And for me to close my business would mean that I'm closing their doors to employment, to food, to sustenance. And it was something that I just wasn't willing to do. So I put my all into it, I put my hands to the grind, and I made sure that my business will not close.
Yeah. To both of you, thank you for sharing your story with SME On Point, and I do wish you the best in the future. And I also can't wait to get my hands on the copy of The Overcomers so I can read for myself the stories your stories individually. I've been joined by Khula Khanya, the founder of Leb's Cafe Ikofi, and Lance Ross, the founder of Swinton Road Butchery. They've been sharing their story about how it has been in the past 2 years when they were faced with floods and looting, and how they came back and still managed to open their businesses. And we do wish that more businesses can find it and they find the strength through their stories to be able to pick up the pieces once again. As I always say, please support small businesses in your communities. Keep those rands and cents circulating. More business news with Nzinga is coming after the break. It's goodbye from me.